Guys, Earl Maghirang here again from the Fanboy SEO, and today we are doing a spoiler review for House of X number 4. This issue was written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Pepe Larraz. And if you haven't read the first part or the first three parts, there are videos, spoiler videos that I posted earlier, which you could watch so you would understand how Hickman is trying to reboot the X-Men franchise once again to make it more popular, make it more appealing to the younger generations. And for this article or for this issue, we're doing number 4, which is picking up from where we left off, where the X-Men's ship was blasted and they've gone into an outer space mission. And we're seeing how things have gone south for Cyclops and his Suicide Squad team, and we're going to look at here. So first things first, we get to see the 8 people who are going to work side by side with Professor X. They're grouped into they're paired into 4. So initially we have Storm, we have Beast, we have the new character, what was her name, Trinary, and then we also have for each of them they have the Stefford Cuckoos coming along with them, working with them. And what they're trying to do is actually make an or establish a connection with Jean Grey, who's in space, and that's exactly what they do. So Beast is observation, Trinary is analysis, and then Storm is invocation, and then Professor X is connection. And when they do manage to connect, we find out that they are in a very, very bad position. You see, the last issue ended with, again, their ship was blasted, and apparently two of the members have already died, and that's Archangel and Husk. And that's really, really sad because they need a full team to complete the mission. We also have, or yeah, as we're seeing, it's Mystique is covering up Husk, and then Cyclops is, well, yeah, pretty much Archangel dies in Cyclops' arms. I wouldn't see it any other way though, because they're the original 5. So still, with this in mind, they still manage to get to the mission, which is to remove 4 collars for Mother Mold, which is the new type of Sentinel that the Project Orchis is developing to kill and hunt mutants. And they kind of become successful though, and we're seeing Omega Sentinel Karina Shapandar trying to pick up the pieces of this attack, and we're seeing the X-Men going at it, and they're actually winning with the start of the first of the mission. We're seeing Nightcrawler, Cyclops, and Wolverine being able to unlock the collars, and we only have one more, which is Mystique's. And while that is happening, also it's kind of sad that we need to see Jean Grey, who's pretty much useless at this point in this story, and Monette or M, and they're being, or what happens here is Monette is actually put Jean in an escape pod, and she tries to, you know, slow down the guards. But obviously, from what we're going to see here, she's not going to make it too. Meanwhile, Mystique, as we can see in this particular page, she doesn't also finish her mission quite well. She's thrown into space, and we can assume that she's going to die, just like how Ebony Maw died in Avengers. If you need a frame of reference, and then we're also seeing that things are really, really looking bad. And with Mystique out of the picture, there's only one way to go. So it's Wolverine and Nightcrawler going on a suicide run. And Wolverine is like, is there going to be something more after dying? And Kurt is just like, I'll be your friend, I'll be there waiting for you, which is a really, really sad moment. I like how Hickman wrote this scene. It's very poignant, it's very touching, and it also touches again, which is always which was his plan all along, is to touch on a lot of things from the really long history of the X-Men, and that's what he's doing right now. And when Nightcrawler teleports, he's dead. As you can see in this particular panel, he he burns up real quick, and Wolverine makes quick work. And even if Mother Mold manages to slow him down, it's still the end for this particular robot. And yeah, So bad. So again, Marvel just finally found another way to kill off Wolverine. So if you're wanting to read a Death of Wolverine in the near future, this is how you kill the feral mutant, which is really smart for Jonathan Hickman. And we're going back and forth between Earth and Mother Mold base, Orchis base, and Cyclops tries to go to Jean, rescue her, but he's also gunned down by Shapandar and the Omega Sentinel. And what happens here in this particular page, what we're looking at, is that she shoots nanites into Cyclops, which pretty much cancels his ability to shoot optic blasts. And that's not really the end, because even if they want to kill him, they do it the old school way. So Jean is, I'm sorry, Jean, I'm not going to make it. And then the last shot that we see for Cyclops is his optic blast, or his visor just getting blasted into pieces. And if you think Jean is able to survive, we're also dead wrong, because the Sentinels that they called from issue number 3 has finally arrived, and they have located Jean. So what's happening here is that they're slowly crushing Jean inside her pod in outer space, and then that's the end for the X-Men. And with that, we see Professor X crying, and he's going no more, and then that's no more. So what we're trying to establish here for this issue is that it's really a sad story for the X-Men. It looks like this isn't quite the timeline that Moira wanted to have. It's still a timeline that she lived, but it's not the timeline that would be perfect, or it's not the Dawn of X timeline, or the timeline where we're going to see the X-Men in October. That's not quite it. This is going to be an X-Men story, probably in the 6th or 7th. I'm going to have to check back on the timeline. But it's really just one of the many lives of Moira. I haven't actually seen Moira here in any of the House of X stories, so maybe she's here, maybe she's hiding somewhere, but that's a good mystery that Jonathan Hickman still likes to keep at the moment. Of course, we already know that for Powers of X, we know that that's the ninth life for Moira McTaggart, where she's the Mother Akaba character, and that's also the materials, or the promotional materials, where we're seeing her and Apocalypse, kissing. So that's timeline 9. So what we still don't have is timeline 10 and timeline 6. So probably one of those two timelines would be explored or would be revealed in the next few issues. We're counting down like the last few issues for House and Powers of 10. So this is really a wild ride, and it's really painful to watch. Actually, if you ask me, this is like the most ultimate version of Game of Thrones condensed into an X-Men book. Everybody's dead. I mean, and that it's not a death that's, I mean, it's a noble death for, in the case of Cyclops. I'm sorry, in the case of Wolverine and Nightcrawler, Cyclops even says like he's the bravest man I know. But for other characters, it's not that much a good death, so to speak. It's not a warrior's death. Mystique was a really bad death, to be honest. I mean, she was just thrown into an airlock, and then let's all assume that she's dead. I mean, you don't survive being thrown in the airlock. Just ask Ebony. And again, we're seeing actually a lot of all the negative things that Professor X, or this particular Professor X, is hiding. It's slowly being revealed, and there's a lot of rumors suggesting that the first two pages we see for House of X number 1, wherein Professor X just came up with a bunch of clones, is probably probably happens after the events of House of X number 4. That's a good theory, but we're still not really 100% sure how this is going to happen. Overall, the book was really good. It was a really nice action set piece. I mean, we've made for the past 3 issues, we don't get that much, just a couple of pages. This one is all out action. It doesn't end well though. It's really bad. I mean, come on. Archangel wasn't even able to fight or kill or participate in the mission. It's just he's dead the moment they land. Wolverine had a really good glorious death here, and hats off to Jonathan Hickman for doing that. Also, Jean Grey, man, That was a really bad way to go. Cyclops also was really painful. It felt like what was the movie? Mission Impossible, Rogue, Rogue Nation, something like that. Oh yeah. So what can I say about the issue? Again, really love the art. Pepe Larraz is killing it with the issues, with the House of X issues he's coming out. Really love his stuff. I wish he would be seen more in the future book for the future X-Men books. Um, I like how this is still a mystery even if we're halfway through the story already. I love how Hickman plays with I like one of the things that we I haven't really touched on or mentioned was that the characters for the book or for this team that they created is a generational, or it's a very inclusive theme kasi we're seeing uh Nightcrawler and Wolverine comes from the new X-Men or the giant size X-Men era. We have Jean, we have Archangel, and we have Cyclops representing both X Factor era as well as the original X-Men era. We have Husk, who died earlier, working together with M, which is the Generation X era, and then Mystique represents the evil mutants. What we're basically missing out here is the new mutants or X Force characters. But you know, we could sub Wolverine and Archangel for those as X-Men. But what I'm trying to, or what the X Factor, or sorry, what X Force I'm trying to mention is uh, the Cable team that was a really big hit in the 90s. So with that, I'm going to give House of X number 4 a score of 10 out of 10. It's got good pacing. It hooks the readers. You'll probably want to buy the next issue when it comes out. I have my own copy though, so even if I really suggest you pick up the books. It's not that cheap, but it's not that expensive as well. But it's a good investment. So while you're at it, you might want to. And as a suggestion, I really suggest you pick up all the or some of the variant covers. Don't settle for the regular covers because some of the variants are really really good. Like the next week's issue, or yeah, next week's issues for Powers of X has the George Molina covers for interconnecting covers, which is really nice because that's the team in their blue and yellow team suits, so to speak. I also fancy the Savage Land cover by David Nakayama with with all the X-Men and the X-girls in their bikinis and all that, and with dinosaurs. That's really good stuff. I don't know if they're going to sell it here though. Again, 10 out of 10. Pick up the issue, pick up the title, go and get the books. I think the first issue is on second or third print already, so it's there's no excuse for you not to get or pick up the singles issues. And I also suggest to get the trade, but let's support the industry. They earned with the singles still, so that's a big way of helping them out. Marvel and even DC. With that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this little review. I'm still sad. I'm still a little bit angry how this happened, but I'm more intrigued about how this is going to turn out, how these dead X-Men are going to appear, what's the end game Hickman has. I mean, we're already in the almost in the end of the story, or we're halfway through, and we still haven't seen any end game or any real resolution, so to speak, or any glimmer of real hope for the mutants. Because every life that Moira has shown us ends in a bad way for the mutants. So yeah, it's still very intriguing. Still love how this is panning out, and I really hope that Hickman doesn't drop the ball anytime soon. And I really hope that the X-Men he's writing is really good. Again, thanks for watching. Please like the video, share the video, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell for notifications as well. And again, thanks. Have a nice day, guys. Bye bye.